Welcome back, everyone. We are here. It feels like forever, but it is week 5 here, the LCS Academy, powered by Verizon. I'm Mazel. I'm joined by Joshi and my Bond villain, Mad Magical, this time around. I'm digging the suit, though, my dude. You're looking good. You're looking clean. I'm just excited to be back here for Academy. I know we had a week off, but we got to get to the games because we're 5 weeks in now, and it's a fun time.
I can't control this piece of hair. That's what makes
It's
it the
fun.
Bond look.
It has a mind of its own, okay? Let it
True.
do its
And
thing. We'll
you're not
its
as
progression.
wide anymore. You were so wide in that
I was
video.
very
you were.
wide. it was wide. But anyway, so we'll see what we can do with wide Kangas and wide Mazel later on.
You heard it all.
It's an absolute fun. Yeah, but hey, again, we're back at Academy. It's just fun to be here. But we do have to update some, community standings that we've had going on as Champions Queue has been updated, and we have been keeping an eye on that one. And our Academy boys representing strong. That's all I'm saying.
True. We got a lot of shakeups going on, right? Busio making his way all the way towards the top of the standings, not just number 1 amongst Academy, but number 1 overall.
In your heart too? Or?
True. Yes.
No, that's in Cubby's heart. Let's be
Might
honest.
be a little young for me.
Wrong analyst. Wrong analyst.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, though, it is impressive to see a lot of these players up pretty high in the standings. I mean, when you have a week off, too, it gives you a lot of time to play that Champions Queue, but shows the talent that we have in Academy. Busio being number 1 really isn't a surprise, because if he puts his mind to it and grinds, of course he's going to get towards the top. Just seeing Arrow copy right on his heels, Surdy, even pretty close as well. I mean, there's plenty of time for any one of them to be number 1 at the end. All
I'm saying is I see 20, top 20. There's a lot of Academy names. Where are the LCS teams, huh? Where you at? No, but in all actuality, huge shout out to the fact that we are seeing a resurgence in the Academy players making it to the top of the list, right? At the end of last split in summer, we were seeing a huge resurgence in top 20 standings being a huge amount of Academy players. So it's nice to see. And another update, we did have a continuation, or I guess PGCQ here as we're making our way towards Proving Grounds Magical.
Yeah.
And we did have some updates to that run here as Maryville 2-0. Not too bad.
I mean, they crushed Supernova.
They did.
Even the EGP crushed GK Crew, Ginger Turmeric. It was kind of close for a bit on game 2, but after a bit, Ginger Turmeric took over. The one that was like the biggest surprise for me was Cincinnati Fury, our number 2 team from the previous GCQ. There we go. Is that they had dropped the game to AoE randoms and nearly lost that last game. Honestly, watch that series because it was nerve-wracking for either side. It could have gone any way possible.
Yeah, and the thing that's really exciting to me is even afterwards, they were saying in the post-game interviews, like, yeah, if you've been supporting us the whole time, great. Other than that, we'll take bandwagoners. We just beat one of the top teams. What more can you ask from us? And I'm excited to see where Cincinnati Fear are going to be going from here. They've had a lot of success in the previous Proving Grounds Circuit qualifier and now continuing to find that. So they might be one of our challengers that could do really well come Proving Grounds proper.
Yeah, it's really fun to just see that kind of progress through, even with some of the newer names into the scene as well. But it's always nice to get a little bit of an update on what's going on around Academy itself. But then we also got to look at going into week 5 of Academy. Here we are, not as many weeks left, and it's scary. But we do have, the standings starting to peter out a little bit here, Joshi.
Yeah, we've been going very quickly through, right? We had 8 weeks last time. This time we only have 7 weeks with so many super weeks sprinkled in the middle. But we are starting to shake out a little bit. But as is tradition, Alex, Lennon, we have the Blob.
The Blob.
Right?
Blob.
3rd through 6. 1 game separates 4 teams tied at 4th with 11 and 9 at this point. There's still plenty of time for all these teams to kind of shake out where they want to be. We have to remember it's top 6 are going to be going directly. They get a bye in the first round of Proving Grounds, whereas the bottom 4 will have to play some of the teams coming up from the amateur scene.
Single elimination too, so it's even rougher.
Yeah.
They get the one chance. If they drop there, they'd make history by being the first Academy team to get knocked out in that stage, since obviously we've only played 1 split with it. But either way, it's still rough. You never want to be put in that position right out of the gates in a tournament to have it potentially be your last series you play. And this would be for the entire year, because we're in summer now.
Yeah.
It's almost over. We're almost done with entire
Stop
2022
it.
season. Lennon, it's coming to a
I don't
close.
like it.
We got to shut down shop. We got to shutter the blinds. We got what are other analogies to say it's gonna end soon.
I like it. We're getting an update on all of the standings in Academy itself, but we also need to do a little bit of a NA talent update. So let's see what Cubby and our returning member of Kangas have in store for us.
Gotta love break week. No work. With that said, Kelsey Moser's calling. Hey, what's up, Kelsey? Host the NA talent update. Kelsey, I didn't create a fake news show to host on a real offer. Just get Kangas to do it. He's been doing a mobile game for half the split. Is that even real?
Another week, another NA talent update to catch you up on all things developmental League of Legends. We're going to start in the amateur ecosystem where the closed qualifiers are currently underway. There were no major upsets this last week, save for 100 Thieves Next dropping a game to a first pick Soraka. Shout out to Wolverine. Also, fans are ecstatic to see the return of No Org, who won the first ever Proving Grounds. And they're going to be up against 100 Thieves next week, which means we'll get the Viper versus Sniper Brotherly Showdown. Also, pour one out for Jake's Kittens, who are now Jake's Strays. So with Amateur out of the way, we're halfway through the Academy split, which means that every team has faced each other at least once. With that in mind, we wanted to give some awards based on what we saw in Week 4. Now, in a meta shift that's left most of the LCS divided on what's viable or not, we wanted to acknowledge what's worked well in Academy. So here's Coach Kiss with our Draft of the Week award. Alright, well, hey guys, looks like we're doing a Draft of the Week award. So hey, let's throw Coach Kiss on it. Looks like this one's going to Team Liquid Academy Coach Spawn for their Game 1 against 100 Thieves Academy series. They had Wukong Kalista locked in early in the draft, which is pretty strong on its own. And then they get the Nautilus into Red 5 Yasuo, which is really, really good. I can't believe that they were able to get away with the draft this cookie cutter. But it worked out great. Just don't ask what happened when they locked it in Game 2. Man, I'm not even a draft coach. Why am I doing this? Now, gameplay might get people to tune into your stream, but branding is going to keep them there. So next up, we have our Interview of the Week award, and no surprise, this one goes to one of the OGs.
She took the weight off my shoulders. If it was ever hard to move, she took the rain on the rainbow when I was living in the blue. Why then, if she is so perfect, do I still wish that it was you?
Now with Week 4 awards out of the way, it's time for a weather report. So let's send it down to Weather Mangus to see what the Week 5 forecast looks like. Alright, thanks Gangus. Weather Mangus here chilling at the Academy pool. It's Rookies Weekend. Let's see what the forecast looks like for these young guns. Sungus, who's looking hot this week? Shane's looking pretty hot! Alright, praise the Sungus. That's the forecast for Week 5. Back to you, Kangas. And that's it for Week 4 NA Talent Update. Thanks to everybody who helped out with this episode, and as always, may your week be filled with positive gaming experiences.
Yeah, thank you so much. And that was my favorite part. Thank you so much to Kangas and Cubby. But the him just looking at it's hot. It's just so good. So good. But that's the NA talent update for a little bit of fun there. But we also had a little bit of fun in Academy because not only do we have a lot of people coming in, but we have some people going out and some huge promotions on the TSM Academy squad here this week, Joshi. It is a time for celebration.
Wait, is this where we do praise the sun really quick, like Kangas said?
Praise the sun, praise the soul, praise Instinct and Chime at this point, right? They're all moving their way up to LCS, and congratulations to them. Soul and Instinct, their first time Chime returning as well to the main stage. And I can't wait to see, right? We already saw several top laners getting promoted from the Academy scene. Dokla and Philip have already had decent splits, and Soul, well, one of our newest players moving up towards the top of the actual play, he is going to be looking for his opportunity to replace Huni, which are some really big shoes to fill. I can't wait to see how he actually moved up, and we just saw, within less than a split of changing his name away from Anime Girl. He already made it, so I guess
Yeah.
you know what to do, everybody else.
Yeah, we're gonna get to see some of those clips as well, but yeah, it's such an interesting development here 5 weeks into the split, and we're seeing this promotion. We're seeing these players get an opportunity at something special, magical.
Right, and honestly, I think that for some of the players that we have returning back to Academy, like Mia, I think is a fantastic player, and I think still well deserves to be in LCS. But Instinct, it's hard to argue against him. I've been praising him for quite some time as well. I look at how he is. I look at how Soul has been playing so far this split. I think he's also been a very good rock for the team. I think it might be, I'm still going to hold my judgment on him, even if he does well or bad in LCS, just because he is still young. He's still very new to the competitive scene. So already getting up to the LCS, who knows how it will do. But Chime is the big one for me. Chime getting a return to the LCS to prove himself once more. We saw last split how well he can play, especially on Golden Guardians Academy, which was one of the top teams last split. But this split has been a little bit more rocky, has been a little rougher for Chime. And so now I'm excited to see what he can bring to the table for TSM in LCS.
I think out of all three of them, it's really important to state, like, this is going to be a new experience for all three of them. And I think for Chime and Instinct, they've been in the system, especially TSM system and the Academy system, a lot longer. I think it might be a little bit of an easier transition, but I'm seriously putting an eye on Soul, right? Like, this is a whiplash, it feels like,
He's
for the
going
players.
in for Hootie, right?
It's literally feeling like some of the biggest shoes. You just came into Academy, you're just now making a mark on the scene, and then now you're getting the opportunity to make your dream come true, which is actually incredible.
That's why I actually want to make sure we're all reserving our judgments of Soul. Don't be too harsh on him, but also don't overpraise him if he does pop off. It's one of those
We love these players. Come on.
No. That's the reason why. Is he's a great player. He's got so much potential behind him. But I do not want him to fall into the hole so many other people have when given this opportunity too soon. Where if they just have one small mistake, one simple thing, people criticize them.
We've seen what you guys did to King.
Exactly.
And
And that's why I don't want people to really judge Soul too much based off this week and even the future weeks.
I mean, any of these
LCS.
players, right? Like, I think anytime you're seeing a transition to the pro level, you got to take it with a grain of salt, right? This is a new system. This is a new setup.
But I think for
these guys.
Soul in particular, just because how new he is to competitive and Academy.
Y'all remember when Malice came over? I'm just saying, Series 1.
I mean, but even I know it's a little bit of a different take and a little bit of a different story, but we're seeing Instinct go in for Tactical, who was the ADC that everybody was lauding before Danny, and trying to see, is he going to be the next superstar? And now we're getting Instinct taking his place. I think it's just such an interesting conundrum, and I'm sure we'll get to talk a lot more about it when we do get to see the players coming through here. But we do got to talk about what we have in store for us today, and when we'll get to talk about those players, as we do have two simultaneous streams. I don't know, maybe a week gone has made you all forget, but we do have two streams that you need to be tuning into here on twitch.tv/Academy. We'll have CLG Academy taking on Dignitas Academy in our first best of two. Then we'll have 100 Thieves Academy taking on Evil Geniuses Academy in our second and our final series of the first day of week 5. FlyQuest Academy taking on TSM Academy there. And then we do, as I said, have a secondary stream. It'll be twitch.tv/PathLCS. Immortals Progressive Academy taking on Cloud9 Academy to kick it off. And then Team Liquid Academy taking on Golden Guardians Academy to round out the second stream. And I think that'll be a fun day. I feel like, Josh. Do you have any standouts? At least I know here on this stream is fun. Do you have anything you're looking out for on the secondary stream?
Well, I think the big thing is it's going to be a very chaotic day, right? You have so many teams coming through with roster changes, and the big thing that I kind of want to prep everyone for is we just had a week off. Well, that was a break week for you and me and a lot of other people. It was not necessarily a break for all of our players. They've been scrimming, they've been practicing, and since they didn't have any matches that they needed to play, they can really dive deep into all the things that were going wrong. And so it's very possible a lot of our teams come back and are not recognizable, even if they didn't see any of their players change.
Oh, I was going to say, but we also had the two bottom teams change a lot of their elements. We were talking about TSM, and that's actually why I'm kind of it's morbidly excited for the Team Liquid Academy.
Morbidly?
Oh my God!
Yes, because it's Team Liquid Academy versus Golden Guardians Academy, and that just sucks for Golden Guardians Academy. They have,
What
you know,
the comeback? That's the ultimate haymaker to the season. Come on.
or it could be the ultimate haymaker to their face that completely crushes them. I don't
Harry Maker.
The thing
Harry
is,
Maker.
I don't want to necessarily just go off one series and say, Golden Guardians, you didn't beat Team Liquid, you're bad now. I can't believe even with the roster swaps, you're bad. I mean, if they pop off, they pop off, and more power to them. But
My favorite part, Magical,
what's up?
was how I could tell it took you a moment to like process what I said.
I loved it. It's going to be one of my favorite parts of Week 5 already.
And I ignored it on purpose.
No, you laughed. You got derailed. Your train came off the tracks a little bit, then you went back onto it. But speaking of getting the train on the tracks,
hey,
I gotta keep us going. We gotta keep moving forward, because if you want to follow any of that information, if you want to catch up on anything, even in that off week, you gotta be following at Path to LCS, where any of the updates for NA developmental comes through, any of the content that we film comes out. So make sure you go drop a follow. Appreciate all the love we have gotten on that channel. But as we do, fellas, it is time to get to our first series of the day. It is CLG Academy versus Dignitas Academy. And a little bit of a change-up that we'll get to last minute coming in here today, but it is going to be a fun one to see this one, and especially this CLG roster, Joshi, who did get a change with Dokla being the emergency sub here.
True, we do have to know that Jenkins not able to make it to the facility today, so we will have Dokla, Big Dokes, coming down to play for CLG once again. And also, Kevy finally coming across from Oceania. The LCO representative to MSI has had a fantastic time over there. Now coming here, he's been spending a lot of time elsewhere down in Brazil, but now he has to showcase that he's still been putting in the work.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is seeing what the pickup has been. Obviously, we have talked to them. They've been in communication, or Kevy has been in communication with the team, and being able to see kind of how that behind-the-scenes communication is going to work into the game, how the scrims have now been going, and especially to see how, as you said, this player is able to continue to build on what we've seen previously, Magical.
And the thing is, it's funny watching this highlight, because I was going to talk about how he loves his AP junglers. In fact, you can see Evelyn nearly permanently banned in the LCO against them because how good he is at that champion. And that's why, we start off with a nice Viego clip. It shows that he can play more than just the AP champions, but he is really proficient on that style, and he's really good at that. So I'm curious to see how teams will approach that. If he kind of gets the Malice treatment that we saw in spring, where it's like, all right, we know you're good on Evelyn. We're not going to let you have that at all. You're going to play more to conform with the rest of the league. Or do they actually tempt fate? Do they say, you know what, we don't fear Evelyn. We know how to play against it. And then end up getting run down.
Well, we have to remember, the last time we saw an Evelyn player was Malice. Again, coming from Cloud9. And everybody's like, yeah, no,
I remember 5 bans going that way.
We don't really want to deal with that. Now, in 12-12, it's not the best champion, but on 12-13, it will become very good.
It's also important to note that Kevy also claimed to have never lost a single scrim, nor a stage game on Evelyn in the LCO.
Well, okay, in the LCO, yes, he did lose one at MSI.
That's why I said in the LCO. I made sure I prefaced that correctly.
All right, I like it. I like it. But you also got to see a little bit of Kevy's perspective, as we're going to get to take a look at, some of the looks and some of the shout-outs to CLG that Kevy gave, as getting through the visa process is never fun. But he did get to go have a little bit of vacation as well.
I'm jealous. I'm so jealous.
It looks so beautiful. I mean, it actually looks incredible.
Just all of it looks great. I always wanted to go to Brazil just to visit and see the beaches and whatnot. Like, the picture of the beach here is the one that really sells me. I'm just like, oh, that looks so cool. This restaurant, the little hills back there. It reminds me of like, it reminds me a little bit of Hawaii, because that's like the closest thing I've ever been to. That's like
you guys,
but it's still not nearly as close.
You guys can go to Santa Monica whenever you want.
True.
Yeah, okay, but Santa Monica...
We have
Rio
Pebble
de Janeiro,
Beaches.
Though. Come on.
We have Pebble Beaches. Excuse you.
Yeah, but Santa Monica, after a while, gets boring. Like,
true, and I will say, If you guys are on the West Coast and have never had a chance to like jump in the Atlantic, it just kind of hits different, right? Like having an opportunity.
It
to
hits
jump in
cold.
that
I
warm...
don't know what you're talking about. It hits cold.
Where were you? Where were you?
Anywhere on the East Coast, not Florida.
No, North Carolina. I was there.
North
it was still like
Carolina's
70-degree
freezing.
water.
What are you talking?
It was 70 degrees. What are you talking about?
I used to go
Mom
there
and Dad
Myrtle
are fighting
Beach every
again.
summer. It's terrifying. No, all right, whatever. We're gonna talk about this a little bit later. We got side conversation. All right, Joshi. But anyways, across the rift, it'll be Dignitas Academy, and I think the biggest thing, obviously, we have the roster that has been performing so far, but now Hoon coming in, Joshi.
Yeah, not Hooney, a little bit different, right? But Hoon has been coming over from the TCL, where he was part of Five Ronin for a long time, right? And this is a team that had middling success throughout the course of the regular season in the previous splits. But now, as he comes on over, he's going to be trying to take the place of Tony Top. We have seen has been a fantastic Camille, fantastic Jax player, and while Hoon still plays a lot of these melee bruisers, he plays a very different cadre of them. It is not going to be the Camille and the Jax. We've been seeing a lot more Nara, Aatrox, Akali.
But hold on, I want to give, hearts out to Tony Top. I think he was doing well as a sub. I hope that he finds a team for 2023.
I really do.
I think he was a great player. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
He
I
did
just
show.
want to make sure, I got to get that in there because Tony Top, huge
Right.
hearts out to him. He's put so much work into Academy, and I hope
Exactly.
he's able to find a home afterwards. But especially now looking at Hoon, right? The thoughts are there. The roster is now together. We obviously got to get a player photo for him, but, but in all actuality,
That's what he looks like.
That's what he looks like. He's amalgamous. But it's interesting to think about Dignitas because now is the time when you're saying, halfway through the split, the rest of the roster is pretty solidified in how they've been playing the game. What does Hoon add to the mix? How do they approach that, especially against CLG Academy, who now having a big change in their roster, not only their jungle, but having an emergency sub. Shout-outs, hearts out to Jenkins. Hopefully everything is okay. But it's a crazy, so much has changed in 1 week off for this matchup in particular. I think it's so interesting to see what exactly we're going to get, Magical.
I mean, it changes, yes, but these are all expected. We've been expecting this from week one, except for the Dokla.
Eventually.
Except for the Dokla one. And I'm not feeling as bad for Jenkins because he's still on the team. He's still part of it.
Absolutely. But
it's just a temp sub,
he's
an
okay.
emergency
We don't know
sub.
the situation.
Exactly.
So.
I'm hoping he's okay. But big Dokes, man. We've already seen him popping off on the LCS stage. I mean, seeing him back in Academy, even if it's just as an E-sub, it's always great to watch him.
And I kind of want to look at our expectations coming in for these two players, right? Because it's been very hard to judge how strong they've been, partly because the tape we have of them is a little bit older, right? It's been a couple of weeks since any of them have had an opportunity to play on stage. But the other big thing is, they're both coming in from different regions, right? While they might not be as jet lagged, because I understand that they've both been here for a little while.
Yeah.
Normally, I would expect Hoon to have a better day today going up against Jenkins, but now he's going to be going up against Dokla because the top lane tends to be a little bit isolated, right? You call it the island for a reason, whereas the jungle, very integrated. And while Kevy is, he went to MSI, he had a lot of success in the LCO, now he has to reintegrate into a new team, and from what I understand, he hasn't had that many days to scrim.
Yeah, I think that's the most important part as well, is what exactly, not only is it the new pieces, but how much time have they had to work together. We were talking about the communication behind the scenes is there, but not necessarily playing together, not necessarily scrimming together. And with the off week, we were saying a lot of teams did take the beginning of the week to have a little bit of rest, but obviously scrim started at the end of the week, so you wonder how much time has gone for these rosters. But I do like what you said in terms of the look will be a bit different on what we get from both of these players. But that's where I want to dive into. Joshi, do you think we get the Evelyn? Do you think we get the comfort for Kevy, or do you think he's going to try to mesh with the fold a little bit more?
You asked Josh this question and not me.
My analyst. I've got to get to the evil takes later, all right?
That's what I'm saying. You get the evil takes first, and then you get the analyst.
What do I always tell you, Magical? What do I always tell you?
Well, there you go. If it's going to be best for last, we'll have an opportunity in a bit, Magical. But for now, I expect you kind of have to, right? You have to make sure he's comfortable. You haven't had a whole lot of time to integrate him into your scrims. And so, you know, with both Kevy coming in and Dokla coming in as emergency sub, this is not the CLG that we're going to be seeing for the rest of the split. This is an opportunity where you have to give Dokla something he's comfortable on, something that Kevy is comfortable on, and just let them do their thing, continue to see how it goes, because they don't have very many reps. You know, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm playing on a team and we haven't played before, we're just like, yeah, pick whatever you like to play. It's less about trying to come up with strats as it is just getting games under our belt so that we can kind of feel out how everybody wants to play.
So I know that's false, Josh, what you just said, because you do not play that way.
Call him out. I love it.
Josh does not play that way. I've played against him in the caster showdown, and he definitely plays meta. And so that's fine.
That was Wolverine's fault. That was Wolverine's fault. He did all of our drafts. I swear to God.
Yeah, see, he says this now.
A lot of Wolverine shoutouts today. Just saying.
I mean, Wolverine, the Soraka, you know, God. I believe that was actually the only win they got again. Well, it's still impressive they got the win. But they got the win against 100 Next when he was playing Soraka.
True.
So just more shows how good he is at that champion.
Let's go back to Kevy, though.
Yes, I was going to say,
what are your hot takes about Kevy?
So what about Soraka
What's
jungle?
Take? Oh, my God. All right.
Too hot,
well,
too hot.
Yeah,
I need some milk.
He's hot! No, I need Kagus.
All right. Okay, fine. What about full AP Nunu jungle?
No.
That is pretty hype,
right.
But, you know, in terms of, like, the AP junglers, right, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something that is going to be, like, a heavy farmer, right? Like the Evelyn early on, the Karthus maybe. We've even seen him play things like the Diana to great success where he can do a bit more of engage. And honestly, if I had to guess, like, what champion is going to play, it is probably going to be the Diana, just because we've been seeing things like Diana become more popular. Yasuo and Yone are right back on in the meta, and just having all these instant go buttons gives you very easy ways to play around.
Well, we'll have to see what Kevy picks. I'm excited to see what Hoon gets. Is he going to be comfort, or is he going to mesh into the team as well? We'll find out. Champion select for game number 1 is ready to go. So Magical, Joshi, take it away.
Why, thank you, Lennon. It's always good having you in, even if we're causing a little bit of mischief and mayhem on the desk as we jump into champions. Like, you see that Seraphine, thank God that was the first ban. I don't want to see this on this pack at all. Seraphine is busted still.
Look, Seraphine and Belveth, while they're still fantastic champions, I'm just like, wow, look at the jacket you got there, Mr. Wielden.
Oh, you didn't know?
It's not expecting. I didn't know that's what you were wearing today. Wow, Valentine's Day is like a couple months away still, buddy.
Oh, I don't.
A couple months late.
I don't recognize Valentine's Day. You want to know why?
Why?
Because I don't believe in love. So there you go.
Oh.
Anyways.
Magical. I almost used my one F-bomb of the entire split. We can't use it for something like that.
Look,
we're getting into this.
Hold on, I'm able to get away with it though, you know.
You've already used yours. But we are, as we get into the rest of the draft, right, we are seeing some pretty standard things. Both of the two champions on 12-12 that are kind of like must pick, must ban are already taken off the table. XU had one of his best weeks in week 4 where he actually got to play the Belveth multiple times and had fantastic success on it. But it's also something where CLG were playing it and Kevy... Yo!
Ashe! The quick Ashe walk-in. We haven't... this has been kind of seen on Champions Queue. This has kind of been seen in solo queue. But to actually see it here on the stage, first game that we have back from the break, having the Ashe locked in so quickly. And the thing is, it's the flex pick. It is either for Meech or Breezy. If you watched any of the PGCs, you would know that the Ashe was played support a couple of times with Miss Fortune paired up. And then on the other side, you're just laughing at this draft all over the place.
This draft is awesome.
Yeah, it is.
What? This draft is hilarious.
This is
you
amazing.
already get the Callista coming through as the first pick. You see the Ashe counter pick, which, as you were touching on, can be played both support and AD carry. The Imperial Mandate build has started taking over, and it's actually more popular in solo queue in the support role than it is in the AD carry role. But beyond that, Kevy, Wukong, whatever. But we go right on back to XU. He was one of our premier Lee Sin players that we had in spring. He's finally grabbing it, and Amumu disappeared. Completely gone from the meta for multiple months at this point, but it's getting picked up right now, going to be going down to JJ, and so we know the incredible engage combination that's coming out from Dignitas. Both teams are here, they have both dropped a gauntlet, and it is going to be absolutely wild seeing how these teams play.
So I'm just really curious to see this Ashe, because I know in the ADC role, people kind of talk about how Ashe in lane is just annoying as all hell. There's not really much you can do against it.
It doesn't get better later either.
Right, especially as a low range marksman such as Kalista. It's pretty much just a dead and done matchup unless you can fully aggress at level 1 using Amumu for that. That's where we have to, you know, kind of keep our minds about us and look at what the next picks will be. Because right now, Dignitas Academy are theorizing that Meech is looking to play that Ashe. So with the Tom Kench ban, I'm curious to see if they try to ban something else that's going to be able to help peel a bit for Ashe.
Yeah, there's still lots of tools available, right? And by banning away multiple Breezy champions, it also kind of pushes them as like, you know, if we take away everything else, you kind of have to play it. But instead, they're going to be hovering a different engaged champion right away. Alistar works great into the Amumu. And I love this draft, right? The fact I've been a big proponent for a long time of saying, who cares what the strongest champ is overall? Just pick something that really makes your opponent miserable throughout the game. Amumu really struggles to play into Alistar. As long as you don't get bandage tossed immediately, you can knock the Amumu away, and he won't be able to get the next bandage toss after the ultimate. Sometimes he won't even be able to get the ultimate at all. The Ashe makes it so difficult for the Kalista to play. And Juves, I'm a big fan of this draft so far, definitely paying attention to all of these different plays. And I really worry for how Spawn, who I have been considering the best AD carry that we have currently in Academy, how he's actually going to be able to play this game. I don't know who he's going to be able to hit. He's outraged by everyone.
So this is where I feel like you just do the ultimate flexes and you just move the Kalista somewhere else and you grab yourself a Kog'Maw. Okay, I mean, I was theorizing it, but I still think it's Kalista bot lane, but that's got to be insanity
That's Kog'Maw mid.
Yeah, that's got to be Kog'Maw mid.
It's AP Kog'Maw mid.
Yeah.
What is going on, Alex? We had 1 week of break and immediately everybody comes back and they are just ready to go. This Kog'Maw mid, I was expecting the classic counter pick to the Azir for Insanity has been the Vel'Koz. But now the AP Kog'Maw coming through, both teams are just going buck wild at this point, just throwing it down. And so I was saying that Kalista was going to have trouble actually hitting. It's going to be outranged by almost everything. But nothing in this game is going to be able to outrange the Kog'Maw. And it's one of those champions, right? We look at the Corki, we look at the Kale, we look at the Cassian's champions that hit level 16 and become impossible to deal with. Kog'Maw does a very similar thing because when he hits level 16, he gets that last bit of extra range on his Biocane Barrage. And boop, 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 I have realized, boop, 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 you don't get to leave.
It is very annoying. But the thing is, you have to get to that point. When we look at the side of CLG Academy, they got good tools to kind of make sure that the mid game will be theirs. Azir is also something that does very well mid game. Pokes out Kog'Maw from quite the distance, but he struggles to get near early on. So unless you can hold on the pace of the game for Dignitas, unless you can really make sure that your team's able to scale, which also then kind of counteracts what the bot lane was drafted for, it's going to be rough to have that Kog'Maw really get into a position to be the hyper carry.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing to also know as we look at these two teams is both teams have very discretionary crowd control. And what I mean by that is you can use it aggressively, you can use it defensively, and neither way feels particularly out of place for a lot of these champions. And so that gives a lot of focus to the people that we would normally expect to be playmakers. Now we know Hoon coming through will have big opportunities to do that, but I'm really going to be paying attention to XU.
And I'm really going to be paying attention to this entire game because I'm just excited for the draft, just as you are, Josh, as we dive into our first game here back from our break. It is week, what, 6? No, week 5. Week 5, thank you, because we have not 8, but we have 7.
We got 7.
Yeah. So I got confused for a second. But here we are, loaded up onto the Rift, and big shout-outs to our observer. We got Lauren in the house. Lauren? Oh, yep, there you go. He said hi. I was hoping you would zoom in on Kog'Maw, especially because it's got the chroma going on. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, look at that.
Little puggy boy. Yeah, big shout out to our observers. We do have Leche and Mermage back, so very excited for them. But looking at the game.
Wait, if I recall, isn't Mermage also on this stream too?
Yeah, she's doing replays for us.
Yeah, we got both of them in the house. That's weird and for quite the treat. But yes, let's get into the actual nitty-gritty of this. Let's get into the game itself and what we expect to happen, at least in these first few levels.
Yeah. So the big thing that I want to look at, right, is first off our new players, Hoon and Kevy. They are coming through. They haven't had a whole lot of time to scrim, but I have heard, via Cubby about Deos. Hold on.
Uh-oh, Insanity finds Triple, sees Breezy nearby. Breezy does not want to engage just yet, waits for XU to jump on top of him, but that's going to be the advantage shots coming in from JJ with Breezy taking below 50% health, but still alive and kicking.
Lots of damage going out. But I want to talk about Hoon, because I think most of these people, we're not done. Okay, we can't talk about Hoon. XU wants to fight.
We can if you talk really fast, Josh. Talk really fast.
I don't.
Oh,
No.
Why? You gotta do it.
Okay.
Talk.
Well, now we can talk about Hoon.
Yeah, talk.
Finally. Okay. Hoon coming through. I feel like he's going to fill a very similar role on Dignitas as what we saw from Eclipse, right? And, well, Eclipse was a player that had a decent time overall in terms of his ability to play out a lot of the lanes. The biggest thing is he was just so positive. He was such a funny guy. From what I understand, Hoon, very similar thing. He's just a great guy to kind of be around. And while he's only had, from what I heard as of yesterday, only 2 scrim games, you can tell he's already got the drive to play. So if Dignitas can just slot in somebody that they already had, it's going to be great.
Yeah, but let's talk about the Gnar-Yone matchup, shall we? Because you know Gnar very... this is why I'm making you. Because you know Gnar very well. And Hoon is playing Gnar into Dokla's Yone. How bad is this going to be?
This is okay, right?
So
this
scale of 1 to 10? Scale of 1 to 10?
You know, like a 4 for the Gnar, right? Like, it's not the worst thing ever, but Dokla was our most valuable prospect for a reason, right? He was so good at shot calling junglers to his lane, he had so much extra pressure, and he really thrives off of being lane dominant. While if Hoon can get to Trinity Force unmolested, he's going to have a great time in this game, but you're already seeing Kevy being forced towards the top side by XU. He's going to be looking for opportunities to try and help out his top laner.
Well, it's also the fact that he did lose out on his own blue buff and is about to get triple buffed here by XU. XU getting quite the sizable lead over Kevy. His first day here in Academy looking pretty rough. They're giving him the full-on jungle treatment.
Well, welcome to North America here, Kevy, right? We do level 1 invades all the time, and Kevy really far behind in terms of his tempo, right? Yeah. He did red buff, he did Krugs, he did Scuttle Crab, now he's going to his own Raptors, and as he starts transitioning to the bottom side of the map, he's poor, right? Yeah. He's going to need a big bailout here pretty soon in order to actually try and affect the game. And this is kind of what I was saying, right? Hoon, he's on an island. You know, whether or not he's going to have success is largely up to him, but Kevy, you know, he's not having a great game, but that's not necessarily his fault.
No. I mean, when you get invaded early on by bot lane and jungler, you don't really have the best support from the side that you have, especially because you just got the headbutt from Breezy, unless you're going to flash in, commit full in. Not really the best statement. So they had to give it up. And now with that being given up, you can see how the other lanes are doing. Even this mid lane. You can see that Insanity, despite getting poked out, he was able to force Triple to recall first and TP back into lane.
Yeah. And I really like this coming through. I don't think this is something we've seen from XU a lot historically, right? He just goes for the pressure gank. He walks into mid lane and is like, I'm going to push this, and now you can back. And that's a big growth from him as a player. I kind of want to attribute it to Insanity as just saying, hey, come, I would like to back away, I would like to buy my items, and I can't do that on my own because I don't have teleport.
Now it's bandage toss, reciprocated by a headbutt, reciprocated by a stun on a JJ. There's a lot going on, but this is Big Doke's territory, Hoon. You can't fight against him.
Crazy, and we got both junglers down here as well. XU not going to quite look for anything, but we said, we'll get back to it. XU's not done.
Oh, uh-oh, Kevy's back. They are looking for the dive.
This is a bit of a tough one, right? It is still an Alistar. He hasn't used any of his abilities, so if they can get Breezy to expend the Pulverize and the Headbutt, maybe they can go for it, but they're still thinking about it. Actually spending a lot of time.
Yeah, I know. That might have actually just... Oh, there it is. Spotted out by a ward. Missed the Sonic Wave. They're going to be able to get a little bit of damage coming in from spawn. But now they have to commit to this. They have to make this play work. And like you talked about, it's going to be difficult against Breezy. So that's why they send JJ in first. But he gets a double knock up in the backline and punch back JJ. They got first blood, but it's at the cost of your own support too. And now with Dokla here, level 5, good chase down, looks for the damage. Getting a bit on to spawn, but he's got to be careful. He had to snap back towards his clone to make sure he survived.
That's a big investment from Dokla, though, coming down to the bottom lane, right? I was already looking at the fact that he was up a fair amount over Hoon, but using the teleport to leave, this big wave is going to crash, and while it does go over to Kevy, which will kind of bail him out a little bit from his bad situation, he's still going to be picking up instead of Dokla. So, XU, I think is a big loser here, right? He goes in, he looks for this big opportunity to go for a dive, but notice he's got 2 camps already spawned. He's looking for ways to play it in the rest of the map, and Hoon is a big winner because he wasn't involved at all.
And he used the Gnar ult right there, but as you talked about, he gets a lot. He was down in CS, down in pressure, down in XP, but now suddenly he's got the lead in everything. He's got the wave pushed back in. Sure, not getting a plate, but honestly, you'll take the gigantic advantages that you were just gifted back so you can have an even lane state against Dokla. Unless Dokla can have a play work where he fully engages on a Hoon, there's not really that much that's going to be bounced back.
Hoon has no hop.
Oh, and there it is, Hoon. I spoke too soon. Nicely done by Big Dokes back in Academy.
That's what we were saying, right? Dokla loves calling the jungler up. He goes for an opportunity for a play. He sees that Hoon has no flash, has no hop, and Mini Gnar is not going to have a good time in that spot. So, Hoon, now that he's coming over the first death before his mythic is completed, is going to be struggling a little bit to actually play for the next several minutes. And he does eventually get outscaled. Hoon was really relying on that mid-game spike. And Dokla not going to be letting him have it without a bit of a fight. So they really do a good job of bailing out Kevy a fair amount. He got a lot of experience going into the top lane, but he's still losing a lot of his jump.
Look at the difference in CS between XU and Kevy. Kevy even grabbed that giant wave top lane just to make sure that some of the experience was gained by a CLG member. It's a pretty big difference. Especially when you have a Lee Sin matchup that you're facing off against. The Lee Sin, the whole idea is getting ahead early, as right now triple. Insanity.
That Q lands, he dies.
Exactly. Insanity land almost everything there.
So this is where we get to see the Kog'Maw comes online, right? We were so focused on the Gnar. We were so focused on the Wukong that we were kind of not having an opportunity to talk about the mid lane because we weren't seeing action there. But Insanity now gets to start pumping out the ultimate. Now he becomes a real boy. He becomes a real champion. And he does a lot of damage from range. And so the thing that CLG are going to have to do is they're going to have to get under the range. They have to get under the gun. They have to get a lot of these fights started. And Insanity is very easy to kill once you actually get on top of him. And CLG have a lot of tools to do that.
All right, now Dokla looking for Hoon. Wasn't able to get the tornado, but had a little bit of damage. The hop used by Hoon to get out of there alive. All while Kevy, I'm surprised he actually didn't fully commit for the Rift Herald. Maybe it's because they don't see where mid lane is.
They also have Exi up here on the top side. It would be a little bit dangerous for them to stick around, but Dignitas happy so far with their position, right? They're not losing too hard anywhere as we go into the rest of the mid game. There are still plenty of opportunities, and I kind of want to go back to a conversation that we started at the beginning, right? We said last week was one of Exi's best weeks, and...
Well, 2 weeks.
Oh.
Okay.
Huh?
I feel like anytime we try to talk about, like, anything...
We don't get to.
No, we don't get to. We try to make these big brain points, like XU now sneaking into the Rift Herald pit, but is spotted by Kevy and sees him as well. So we'll be both of them backing off. Though XU, I'm surprised he's actually committing this hard onto Rift Herald, especially knowing that Kevy's
He's got JJ.
They got Breezy. That's where it all gets topsy-turvy. It's an even fight on paper, but who will be able to get the advantage? Dokla already jumping onto XU, who has to ward drop away. Dokla's looking for the fight, but keep in mind he had to snap back, looks for Hoon, getting a little bit of damage, all the while triple, trying to poke at JJ, but JJ, he had already gotten these flash. Nice effort divide to try to save the life of the cow. Well, Insanity, he can chase down, flashed away by Breezy. That would have meant certain death had he connected one more of those ults.
And Spawn was a difference maker, just coming all the way up. JJ harassing Kevy is going to mean that Dignitas will be picking up this Rift Herald. But to go back to the previous point, right, I was going to say that I felt like playing the Bel'Veth gave XU a very clear game plan. You show up to the Rift Herald when it spawns, you get level 6, and you go for these plays. And we're starting to see similar shadows of the same player, right? He just looks for these early advantages, then he just goes into the jungle, he takes the Rift Herald, and now they find themselves a very natural advantage. It's given Dignitas a very clear way to actually try and play this early mid-game, and so far, they're doing a good job. They are very even, and they have a team composition that has a Kog'Maw that is going to scale ad infinitum.
Yeah, exactly. He's just gonna get stronger and stronger. But same can be said for Triple. People forget that Azir's actually got a really good late game as well as mid game. He's got a lot of damage that he can pump out. He can start to dish out, and if Insanity steps out too far, the big thing about him is he's an artillery mage when he goes the style. The best
True.
way to play against it is just to jump on top of him.
True. But Kog'Maw has more range, so it is going to be a situation where Triple does have to try and get in a little bit closer. I'm expecting him to play a bit more of the bursty stream and shuffle, like blow people up very quickly, than just trying to trade his Qs with Insanity's ults, because, you know, Insanity is just going to do it from a range that Triple can't do anything about.
Especially when he has blue buff and just pretty much never going to lose mana here for some time, so makes the lane a little bit difficult for Triple. Not going to be able to
Like a
find
real
those
pug.
angles just... Wait, what? What kind of pugs are... If a pug's making that kind of noise, you should take it to the vet.
Anyway,
that ain't
Hoon is
happening.
in the mid game.
Yeah.
Hoon
But
gets
he
to play
doesn't-
this matchup now.
But he doesn't have that Triforce that you were talking about. Now he has to just use as much damage as possible onto Dokla, with Dokla not even feeling threat.
And so this is the spot where Hoon actually gets to start playing, right? Because he has enough base stats that he's built up, he will be able to go for a lot of these skirmishes. He will be able to just kind of sit and fight as long as he's not under threat of getting hit by the knockups from Dokla. He should be able to go for a lot of these, you know, one-on-ones. But at the same time, Dignitas, they're playing towards the other side of the map, and CLG know.
CLG know, they're looking for the play. They've got the Cyclone, they've got a lot of damage on Axie. The spite secured by Kevy to make sure that at least the first dragon of the game goes CLG's way.
Good job to CLG. Good steal from Kevy coming through. One of the things that we continued to praise XU last year was he won every 50-50 smite that you could possibly ask him for. And now, Kevy, you know, in his first outing, already trying to challenge that a little bit. This game feels like it's got a lot of weird things pushing and pulling it, right? We're still waiting for Insanity to hit level 11 and get even more range. We have Hoon really starting to come into a spot where he can start playing. And this Ashe, while it's not going for the Imperial Mandate like we were talking about previously, is going to be in a situation where there's just a lot of poking, a lot of pushing and pulling, and we haven't yet seen most of our engaged players, the Dokla, Kevy, Breezy, or XU, having opportunities to just be really aggressive.
Oh, but Dokla tried to play a little aggressive there onto Hoon, who's about to go Mega, so he has to bail. Go back towards the turret, getting poked out all the while.
Yeah. It's come alive. Despite the one gank that we saw from Kevy,
Yeah, I was
been a return.
I was waiting for, and you talked about the Triforce. I'm like, all right, that's when we're going to see the power. Nope. Level 10.
Level 10. I mean, he's got most of it Triforce and boots.
Yeah, but he also did this
Still a little
before
early.
he even had any of this. He just had the boost before, and he was still able
Yeah.
to do that to Dokla. It's like you talked about. It's just the base damage that you get on R, plus then when you add in all these other things, makes it difficult for Dokla to play out this matchup. And I'm curious to see how CLG will react to it.
Well, Dokla will win this again later, right? The side lane matchup will become even better. Eventually, Dokla's sustain will be too much for Hoon to really do much about. But at the same time, Dignitas, they have level 11 Insanity. He's got extra range on his bleh, and
Again,
as they crash this rift on the
a
mid lane.
pug is making that kind of noise, you should take it to the vet. I'm just saying.
No, but that's what he's doing. I'm just
So we
trying
should
to be
take
Insanity.
So we should take Insanity to the vet, is what you're saying.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Just want to make sure we
Yeah.
clarified that, as now that we're getting closer towards, you know.
Dog champ.
Anyways, now that we're getting closer to a mid game and the plates have fallen, you can see how, you know, everyone's rounding out their builds. We got the Immortal Shield Bow from each, and this is something that we tend to see when it's more of the Ashe ADC.
Who doesn't know?
Oh no, he doesn't know. But Dokla has a hard time getting towards him, especially when he gets hit by those boomerangs each time. So Kevy not actually going to fully commit.
Darn. I was really looking forward to seeing if they could actually find that kill, but Triple looking mid lane.
Ooh, the flash in with the Cyclone. They're looking to see if they can pull back Insanity, but he's used that Ghost to get himself a little bit of distance with the Cyclone onto XU, but XU could re-engage if he wants to, but he's got to be careful. Breezy's behind him. He's taking a lot of damage coming in from Triple. As Triple poked both of them out, they will be forced out of the lane for now.
That's a positive summoner trade, though, for CLG. Kevy has to use his flash, but it's traded for Insanity's, XU's, and Insanity also loses his Ghost.
Yeah.
So lots of small wins coming out from CLG, and the big thing that's going to really affect is this upcoming Dragon fight, right? In about 100 seconds, we will have an opportunity for CLG to try and challenge another Dragon. And now Insanity, we said he was going to play from range, but if you get on top of him, the range doesn't matter. And with no flash, he has no escape tools going up against Breezy, Triple, Kevy, and Dokla, who all see this dog and say they want to be the ones to take him to the vet.
Well, we'll see as now. Insanity playing very cautiously, despite having blue buff gifted over to him. He knew something was fishy. Something was abound in mid lane, and he's fairly low, so he takes a little bit of damage from Triple. Now that JJ's nearby, it forces Shurima Shuffle from Triple to get away. So they'll survive, but this is all just killing time for CLG. They're setting up plays across the map each time.
But what it does do is Triple stopping the back from Insanity there is he gives Insanity a really awkward position. Now CLG get control of the mid lane. They get to choose where the lane is going to be, and you see that Dignitas already moving towards the bot side, trying to make a play elsewhere. But they're in the bottom lane a little bit early, and Meech is backed up, so Triple... He's done a really good job, actually, stopping Insanity. They have so much mid priority to play around in this mid lane, and it means that they can enter the Dragon Pit and go for a retake much easier than they would have if he hadn't gone for that stop.
Oh, he's looking for the full play on Insanity. He pulled him back. He's got the damage. One more soldier killed off Insanity.
And Triple, we were asking where he was. He had such a better spring than he has had a summer so far. Now he's coming in, challenging Insanity. He sees his Kog'Maw, knows that there's no summoner spells, and just dunks him.
Arrow connects onto JJ. They've got the knockup, they've got the damage, but he's pulled back in by Fate's Call to make sure he'll survive.
And good patience from Kevy as well, knowing that the Fate's Call is there and not going to be committing the Cyclone, not going to be committing anything he doesn't have to, and it will earn CLG their second Dragon of the game.
And it's funny because it feels like CLG have just gained so much on the map, but at the same time have gained very little. Because when we look at the gold, they've got 1,000 now over, as well as 2 dragons over that of Dignitas. But I still feel like Dignitas have great advantages elsewhere, but we'll take a look at the replay first here in mid lane, because mid lane not looking like one of them.
True. I mean, the big thing here is Triple, when he does this, kills all of the caster minions at the same time. And with that, there's nothing for Insanity to tank the turret. He's just going to be taking a ton of extra damage, and it's great, but now Dignitas is going to engage.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. I feel like Dignitas still have these plays. They're getting a lot of damage, but the Bandage Toss having missed is a big loss for the side of JJ as he got it onto Greasy, but here comes the side clone from Kevy. Nice kick from XU, but look at where CLG has Triple at the moment. Same with Insanity. They can re-engage with the TVs being committed by both sides. The first casualty is going to be the cow made into mincemeat, but they're going to trade back for the mummy. They've got the kill on the Meech, but look at Dokla in the back line. Can he kill Spawn? Spawn takes him down with Triple. Shurima Shuffle, the damage in the Oko. Oh my god, they might turn this around. They've got the kills, and Triple will clean up Hoon.
Huge play coming through from Hoon. Huge play coming in from Triple. It's looking crazy across the board. And already, Triple, the player that we were looking at, I thought he was going to get outranged. He's getting under the gun. He's taking control. A fantastic play coming out from both sides. And it starts with a play that was like, yeah, this is probably over, right? JJ probably just leaves. But Dignitas, they're not that kind of team. They will take every play, and they will go for it. And great kick from XU to knock Kevy away. But the big thing, we're not sure if this play goes anywhere until everybody starts teleporting in. Triple looks for his opportunity, and Hoon finding a double ultimate on multiple people. But Triple, not to be outdone, just waits for the exact same moment, corrals everybody on Dignitas into the alcove. There's nowhere for them to go except through him. And Triple, he has enough damage. He doesn't care. He's so bursty at this point.
Living up to the name as well, getting another triple kill to his name with the triple stack. What a play there. That was messy, and this is what I was talking about. It feels like the teams both still have ways to play against one another, that they still have these avenues, because you saw how close that was actually for Dignitas. Had they just played a little bit more cautiously, might have been able to turn that fight around, but Triple, you knew that they had to play that burst style you had talked about, Josh. He's playing more to assassinate and do a lot of damage quickly than he is to try to see if he can do damage over time. That's given CLG quite the advantage here, and even utilizing the Rift Herald. Well, nope, never mind.
Well, they get the turret, but I also want to point out a decision that CLG have made in terms of their item builds thus far that might make a difference.
What's that?
As they get poked out a little bit by the Kog'Maw. Is Meech has chosen to go with the Guinsoo's Rageblade. And this is a good item on the champion, but it is a choice that is power now in exchange for less power later, right? He does less damage this way than if he went for crit And this, to me, says that CLG is still of the mindset that they are the ones on a timer. They're the ones who have to win before Insanity hits level 16. And so because of that, they want to give themselves as much opportunity to win the teamfight around the next Dragon, win a teamfight around the Baron, win a teamfight around Dragon 4, and win all of those in order to try and close out the game. Because while they do have a lead, true, it's not secure, right? Yeah. It's not as though we can just close the game and be like, yeah, Dignitas should FF. No, Dignitas have plenty of ways.
Oh yeah, that's why I said it. I feel like this game is still anyone's. It was weird because CLG just got all these advantages. They won the fight. Triple got a lot of kills. Yet I still think Dignitas have paths to succeed. They have Insanity. He's level 13, 3 levels away from that 16 mark. And so this is why CLG, as you had called out, feel pressured themselves. They are forcing as many plays early on as possible.
Yeah. And Dignitas know they're coming over. Everybody is on vision.
That's low, though. Look how low that Baron is. The punt away to make sure XU couldn't steal, and JJ in the backline with the Curse of the Sad Money getting a lot of damage on a Triple. He has to use Stream Shuffle to be able to get away, but now they can chase him down. Insanity's got the damage. Can they kill Triple? He flashed to be able to survive. Kevy, too, over the wall, but the shutdown for Insanity as Mish now nowhere to go except into the grave with him.
That's a huge decision coming out from CLG. They take the Baron off the table so that Dignitas can't get it, but because they die, this is time right back on the map for Dignitas to take a ton of turrets top lane.
Okay, Breezy doesn't spot him out. Now XU jumps on top of Breezy, but he was just able to headbutt, or pulverize, to be able to get him away. All the while, it allows Hoon and Spawn get some bounty gold off these turrets as Dokla, one of the members that remains with Baron, could at least get some gold back for the team to make sure they still can lord some sort of a lead.
And as they pick up this mid lane turret, we have to note that Dignitas, they committed very heavily towards the top side of the map, and that means that they are not getting this dragon. CLG have played the rest of the map fantastically. Doklo, this is one of the things I always love watching him do in Champions Queue is, you know, when something is happening on the rest of the map and he's not able to interact with it, he instantly just goes elsewhere. And so, Doklo, they win themselves a dragon.
JJ was able to land the banish toss again onto Breezy. So 2 times in a row he was able to get that with them chasing down. They've got XU nearby, but the punt away. Breezy trying to survive the best he can. He's a thick boy, and he will.
Teleports down bottom lane. They want this fight.
And look at Kevy, look at Dokla. They weren't able to actually connect any of the ults, so now they got a lot of damage on top of their heads, and they got to be careful because here comes Spawn. Here's Spawn's damage. Didn't kill Dokla, but that was going to be the boulder from Hoon. Taken down 1, looking for more. Keep in mind, though, Triple, he's the king of the team. If he can get the kills, they can save the game, and he might just do so once again, even though he's losing everyone else on the map. It's low health bars on Dignitas. Triple, he's fighting valiantly. 1v4, waiting to see if he can turn it around, and he jumps back in! Oh, he didn't pull off the full miracle, but he takes 3 with him.
A disastrous start to the fight from CLG is saved by Triple again this game. It's not been Hoon, it's not been Kevy who have been the big difference makers. It's all been Triple, but they lose their Baron buffs. They lose their pressure on the map. Insanity is still counting up, and Spawn finds a mid lane turret. But watch Dokla go in. This is everything, right? He is now in the middle of no man's land, and credit to Hoon. I want to watch Hoon first during this fight. One, he gets this rock onto Dokla right as he goes back, but then he just walks at Meech. He just walks at him.
He's just standing there.
It's like, what are you gonna do?
Menacingly.
He just goes down, runs him down, but that gives enough time for Triple, right? Triple gets in the middle, and while they do a decent job at trying to get out of the range of his soldiers, it's on a low cooldown. And you know, Triple, once again, knowing he's probably not going to get out, too many skill shots to dodge, tries to take a couple with him. They get Kog'Maw.
Hey, he took 3 with him. Let's be
The
fair.
True.
He beasted that fight. It was, yeah, I thought he was going to get the quad for sure. I didn't think he was going to take down Spawn, but I thought he was going to come out with 4 kills and have pretty much the reverse of the last fight where he was the only survivor one. But now, Dokla in a lot of danger, has to do so all defensively, but he got tagged by Q, and now inside the alcove himself, who snaps back, and look at the chase down wall. A fight happens on the Spawn. A big shutdown could get gifted over to Triple, and he does pick it up while Dokla, how'd he survive?
He just walks away. He
He
just gets out
waddled
of
away.
there.
Waddle.
Till the very next day.
Bop, bop, bat it up.
But CLG, I was going to ask, are they going to get anything else on the map as Dokla dies, right? That's the mark of a good League of Legends team. Triple finds Spawn in the middle of the red jungle. at the same time, they don't lose a turret topside. So the fact that Dokla lives is fantastic for CLG. They've gotten the Baron, they got the Dragon, they bought the power now, and in 2 minutes, they're going to be fighting over the Cloud Soul. And while normally, you know, this Soul feels like kind of whatever a lot of the time, for CLG, it gives them the movement speed to dodge Insanity and to get on top of it.
As I say, Soul's a Soul, and now Insanity's Soul is looking like Kevy wants to claim it. He's diving under the third, got the damage, and that's the problem with Kog'Maw. He's too much artillery, and if you jump on him, you kill him.
True, there's not a whole lot. You can't angle the gun down directly towards them, and so CLG, they're doing a good job. They picked off Spawn in the bottom side. They pick off Insanity in the top side. They get themselves another turret. Triple 8 kills to his name at this point. And as they start to take control of the rest of the map, you're noticing that Triple, that was like an auto tag.
Yeah. He's got a lot of damage on him. But you know what? I want to do some checking. Because we've started the day talking about the new players for each team. Looking at Kevy, looking at Hoon. I want to do a temperature test for these two players and see how you think they've been performing. Because right now, it seems like this game boils down to Triple versus Spawn.
In a lot of ways, yeah. It's a situation where I have been impressed with Hoon's ability to lane into Dokla. And as he gets jumped on,
he gnars him into the wall. He's fighting back. He's got the damage. Jump away to get away from Kevy, who does not have Cyclone. Who can't chase him down. And this time, the top laner surviving is going to be Dignitas.
But just as we talk about it, you know, Kevy had a rough start. He's really fought his way back, just as we saw that. That was also a situation where if he was thinking a bit more about the game, he gets that kill, right? But he uses the dash immediately instead of walking a little bit closer and then waiting for Hoon to use the hop away. Right? It's one of those small things where it's like, it's not necessarily going to be game-changing, but it is one of those things where we praise players like Dokla for it, where he was holding his abilities until the right moments during team fights. We can look at Kevy and ask if he can be able to do the same thing, but right now he's in the right place, and he's done that quite a bit this game.
All they need is for Meech and Triple to clear out the minion waves consistently so they can take that Dragon Claim Soul. Dignitas, calling the bluff. They're already starting to rotate towards Baron, and keep in mind with the Kalista on your team.
Like what bluff?
Exactly. Dokla, he's like, I got this. You aren't even starting it yet. I should be able to take this. I can even back and TP into the fight if I need to.
Nice, he does that. He might have the Death Dance, but they find Breezy.
Oh, Breezy getting a little bit too big for his britches, looking to see if he can escape from dodge here, and he might just do so at the cost of his ult. While everyone on Dignitas, oh, the arrow missing from Meech means that everyone on Dignitas should feel comfortable going back towards Baron.
But Dignitas, they didn't set up their mid wave, and look at that, Dokla teleporting directly there. CLG don't even need to fight this, they just need to make sure they don't lose it.
Let's see, right now it's down to 50%. Kalista's gotten a lot of spears with JJ's 5-man ulti, but it might not be enough because Kevy was able to get a lot of distance for Dokla in the backline. Here's Hoon taking down the Monkey King, as Hoon now is going to be the focus. Triple wants to be a hero once more. He's going to help take down another kill. The flash coming in from Meech. Meech, been a hero, flashing forward, looking for the slows. XU, he has to dash over the wall with a ward, but Dokla could keep chasing. No, he can't, and it will be the sacrifice of Insanity instead.
A 9th kill going over to Triple as they find Insanity. This Kog'Maw has not been doing anything for most of this game, but CLG, they take control. They get 3 kills for 1, and even though XU's still alive, they know he has to recall. They know that he's nowhere close, and they're going to be just fine, able to hit up this Baron on their own. Spawn can only pick up Krugs as a consolation prize.
I'm watching Spawn to see if he tries to be a hero, but he doesn't, just recalls. Okay. Recalls. Baron picked up by CLG as well as the inhibitor turret in mid lane. Dokla, having previously TP'd to that, just wandered back, meandered back into mid lane so he could take that away. Even finding out XU in the jungle. Then, alright, these chicken nuggets, they're mine.
Poor XU losing control. That was 2 camps. They just lost to Dokla as well as the mid lane turrets. But the one hope I feel like for Dignitas, because Spawn, while he's playing these fights reasonably well, he's outranged and kind of outgunned in a lot of ways in these fights. But Insanity, level 15.
I was about to say, and he's got the rallies completed. So we're getting to that point of power for Kog'Maw where he's uninhibited by the limits of mana. He transcends all forms of mankind to become the spittle god of the future.
I don't know if he can ignore his mana, right? Those ramping costs on the
He's
ultimate.
transcended.
He's transcended.
Man, Josh, did you not just hear that?
Man! Oh, I thought you said mana, and I was like,
Oh, no,
don't know
no,
about
no,
that
no.
one.
Yes, he's transcended mana as well as man. You just gotta believe. You just gotta believe.
Oh, okay. You know, if we're playing Earth, right, he can do anything. He's already at half mana. Right, look at that.
Well, look at Hoon. It's all to clear out the minion wave so they could possibly open up top lane inhibitor themselves. Well, Dokla, he will take down mid lane inhibitor. It should be at the cost, though. With Hoon playing powerful side lane, he will take the turret. But now, it's at this cost of an inhibitor turret
teleport.
themselves. The TP behind. Oh, that is a deep TP, and he's about to go mega. They're going to be able to spot him out with Blue Trinket. Now they got to look to see if they can fight their way out of this one with the turret there set by Azir to make sure they have a little bit of distance with bandage shots in. There's going to be the Fate's Call dodging away, but they still get the triple knocker in from Dokla. They lose JJ. Here's Hoon in the back line. Can he save the day in the game? He cannot. He's taken down by the King. Triple here to win. Here's Azir, 10-2. He might even be able to pad the kitty a little bit more inside of the base. As XU, he's burning, waiting for the last tick. He will survive, but game secured by CLG Academy. I know you want him to end, but right now I think Triple wants that 11th kill of the game. Try to get into the top, and it won't happen. At least it's a valiant effort on the way out.
Was it?
He
did it.
Look,
he did do it. But the big thing is they won the game.
Look,
and while we have the opportunity,
Josh, I know you don't like this place. I know you don't like this place. But
I'm just saying, if XU like had found a miracle and they all like dove that and just kicks them all into the fountain and they lose, nobody's forgetting that moment. Nobody forgets that.
I see you're the kind of person that in ARAM that just hits the Nexus.
No. Well, it depends on what group I'm playing with. But I want to praise CLG. They had a lot of good plans throughout the course of that game. They really understood how they were able to play the map. We saw Dokla in side lanes quite a bit. Triple was fighting a lot of these picks. Triple played these fights excellently. And at the very last moment, when Dignitas goes for the deep flank coming out from Hoon, there was a plan. As soon as they saw Hoon, they knew they have to go on Hoon or they have to go on the rest of the team. They instantly picked the 4, and they very cleanly win the 4v5 before Hoon can even participate. It feels like CLG are really starting to step themselves up and challenge towards the top of the table.
Well, it's really interesting looking at this game, too, because Kevin did have a rough start. Not the best showing in the first few levels from our Oceanic jungler, but when it came to team fights, that's when he started to step up. He started working with the team very well. You got to applaud him for that. For now, Josh, we're going to toss it to a break. When we come back, we'll have our host, Mazzella, here for our halftime show. So make sure you all stay tuned.